What is up, chaotic community? I'm Dave.
And I'm Steve. We got lots happened in the last 24 hours.
So hit me with it. Share with me what's going on.
Yeah, so last night, at least for me, where things kind of got kicked off is we saw this video come out from Kiro talking about the official art that they've seen for the release. And since then, there have been a lot of people talking about this. So it took me a while to find it, but I eventually found a Reddit that had a post about some of the information, which had a source to a site for blowout cards. And if you go to the blowout cards site, there's a lot of things. There's some costs, but then they had this link for the sell sheet. And if you go to the sell sheet, now this is where a lot of the stuff that we talked about yesterday comes from. So here are all the foundation deck and the starter deck information that's here. You can see the same images are for them, the booster box and the packs. Yeah, the foundations. And so what really kicked up a big storm on YouTube is these images here. So there were six.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there are 6 card art, and we're going to go through them like exhaustively. So it's going to be a fantastic discussion. There's a lot of people who are really concerned about things. I don't think it's people have as much to be concerned with. But before we get to that, there's like 2 quick, really interesting things, and so just wanted to talk about those. So on this same page, we see a breakdown of how many the rarities, how many common, uncommon, rare, super rare, ultra rare, and secret rare. there's a brand new rarity type that's listed there, which 5 out of 215 cents. Like not a lot of secret rares, but
which kind of tracks. I think that's okay to have ultras and secrets like that.
Yeah. I only haven't. Most of them have that many types or not. We have no idea what that's going to be, and what is the pull rate going to be on something like that is going to be, who knows,
right?
But
is there any information about pull rates per like boxes, or
haven't seen anything about that? And so actually, let's just go to the next one from that. So we actually saw the first thing that looks like some official numbers for cost.
Okay.
Yeah, so they had some MSRPs listed here for booster box packs, starter decks, and the foundation decks.
What are your takes on the pricing and where it falls?
Okay, so everything's still a little bit on the high side, but this is MSRP, and so let me start with packs. So MSRP for packs they're having listed here is $4.99 a pack. That's not out of the world for TCGs, right? That's maybe it's just a tiny bit to the higher side, but not uncalled for. A little bit of a strange, maybe I just don't know what they all normally go for, is the MSRP for the booster boxes is exactly that 5 times the 18 to getting to 90. I don't know if they normally factor a discount into it or not, but when you buy the whole box, but maybe not. So I just this morning went up and looked up. Once again, the day before I went through everything, and I was looking off Lorwyn. So I looked off Lorwyn. So that normally sells for about 70% of what MSRP is. So, even 90 is not the worst number I've ever seen. If we're in chaotic, it's somewhere around 70 or 80% of MSRP for like online sales from like major distributors. Which we may not be in October, but hopefully by January, maybe we would be.
Yeah, I would agree. Like early on, it's going to be high.
Yeah, and early on, it's going to be high. So, but if we're at 70-80% of that 90, I'm going to be a real happy camper, right? I
agree.
That would be, I think, around $70, which, I mean,
18, that's what we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, 18 card packs is low, but at 70, that's not horrible.
Cool. Yeah,
So
no, that's encouraging. That's
yeah,
really encouraging.
yeah,
Because yesterday we were talking, and I'm like, man, like that's really expensive.
yeah. And so the thing that I would say that is a little bit discouraging, whatever, is the price that they have here for the starter decks and for the foundations. So the starter decks they have listed here at 25 and the foundations at 15.
Mm,
If the MSRPs like in the store is actually that, I think that's a really horrible deal, and I think it kind of misses the point of a starter deck. The starter deck is kind of like your hook. It would be like the equivalent of the Costco chickens, right? It's the thing that you use to get people interested in things.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah. It's true.
it's not the premium price item. It's what you do to get the hook. You want to make the $5 on the pack every day. You don't care about the starter deck as much. I think I'll be honest with you, I think it's like $10 too high. I guarantee it's 5 too high. But I feel like it's almost
Yeah.
more like 10 too high. But so yeah, so just looking at these numbers, so if we're talking about the two mini packs, which have two cards each, being the rares that would be in those starter decks, that means for $25 you would get 4 rares or better. If you went and spent that $25 and got 5 packs instead of 52 cards like you would get in the starter deck, you would get 50 cards, but you would get 10 rares or better. Like
Mm,
like 6 more rares, which would probably be more like like what, 2 maybe 3 super rares and 6 rares. You could trade those to get all the commons and the commons that are in those starter decks in a heartbeat.
sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
like and much more. So
Now I will say
Mhm.
this: we don't know the pull rates in those mini packs.
We
What
don't
would
know.
make it worth it to me is if the secret rares, ultra rares, super rares, the different pull rates were maybe a little increased.
Yes, it could be. Yeah, and I
I
think that's how it was. Is that they had a higher rate of like ultras in those, and so last
Mhm.
time I think there were also starter deck exclusive ultras. So ones that
Yeah.
you could only get really get a pull from there, which does change the math on things. So that's about all my thoughts. Did you have anything you wanted to add on costs before we went into the card art? That's really one to
No, no,
really already talk.
we hit on what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
No, it's good. Let's go card art because I think
Yeah,
this is an interesting one.
I went down the rabbit hole on this one because people I was almost going to include all the thumbnails that I've seen so far. There's a lot of thumbnails from from a lot of people really concerned about this, and I'm not always
Well,
I'm not always the most positive person, and I could tell you I'm not particularly worried at this point. So
and I do think there's a good reason for the concerns that everybody is bringing up,
oh
right? With what we're seeing,
the
I mean, it
images are
is
ugly.
glaringly
Yeah,
obvious.
yeah, it's ugly. It's real
It's
ugly.
ugly. Yeah,
But
it's
see,
ugly.
that's the thing. That's the thing. I sometimes I think I'm not so much negative as I'm just contrarian.
I
Yes.
kind of agree that I agree with you about
Yeah.
you are a
I
contrarian.
am kind of more contrarian than anything. These are so bad, I'm almost not worried about it, which is kind of a weird place to be. But yeah, let me go through it all. First thing, tiny thing that's interesting. So a lot of this comes from my real, here's my leading thought is that this artwork here is either incredibly old concept art or is most likely leveraged from some other deck that they made within Panini. Like maybe they were making some internal document where they're like, hey, we need to, tell the uppers and show what we're thinking about some quick concept art, and they made this when they were putting together that sell sheet. They're like, yeah, the card art's not ready yet, and we don't want to lake you here. Just use this from this because this stuff looks so old and dated. It looks like it's done by AI, and actually like an AI from quite a while ago. I made a rendering based off of just chat gpt yesterday, and you get something that looks a lot better than all these. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah. Okay, so even in this, they show like all these extra keywords like supers and promos and ultras. They go through all the types that are here, but the
Yeah.
surprising thing is that one of the things that's not here is the secret rare, which is just indicated, which I find to be strange. So I wonder if that's part of my reason why I think these may be so old, that it may be before they had decided to actually include secret rares.
That's fair. Hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's pure speculation, right? I don't work for Panini or anything. I don't have any insider information. Disclaimer. But next, so we're just going to look through like all of these. So some of the reasons why I think you don't have to be worried about it. So for every card, they have like a set icon, and the set icon is a series of 3 dots, which the first one is filled in, which would be the worst set icon set I've ever seen in my life for anything. Like, it's just completely nothing. Like, so you normally for things, you see these nice kind of more stylized things. Even if you go back to Dawn of Perim, which is kind of basic, it's nowhere near as basic as 3 dots and just the first one is filled in.
I completely agree. If that is a set symbol...
Yeah, it's like, who is that dream? Yeah, it's not. There's no way. It's impossible.
Well, which also would prove an AI concept or an AI drawn up,
or
concept art,
or a placeholder or something that
too. Yeah, right. That too.
Yeah. So the next thing, just funny thing, on the music card, the artwork is horizontal. It's not orientated. It's 90 degrees orientated in the wrong direction.
Oh my gosh. That's a funny one.
Yeah, more things for him in the elements. So there's actually nowhere on here where it says what tribe it goes to, which, I mean,
that's kind of odd.
I think you would absolutely break the game wide open if you just said, "Oh, all musics are for all tribes now." It's too much of the strategy that you can build around tribes, So it's just they didn't put it there, but kind of see where AIs are making decisions for things, where you see these little card elements that are there for kind of flavor are reproduced up here that are in the third that get up to the top. And so in a lot of these things, you're going to see some of these decisions. This one actually artistically makes more sense than all the other ones.
It's a good call out as far as the logic being AI and just making a decision. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Again, a lot of speculation. And I think it's a good one. Well, it's a positive one, which is kind of different for you. I was a little skeptical, but after, kind of talking a little bit, I'm seeing your points. And I'm hoping you're right.
Oh yeah. This is not even the best information yet. So let's keep going. So Riverlands card that they show. Okay, so this is actually probably the prettiest and most reasonable of the set layouts of that we saw was the location card. Like that's
I agree.
Completely offensive. There's one other thing about it. There's a couple things from it that we'll point out later why I still think, but I don't hate it as much. Takinom. Oh boy, yeah, we'll be spending a lot of time on the Takinom card. There's so much going on the tie, and a lot of it'll come up with late. Oh, so I should have said I split this into kind of into two halves. It's the hey, don't worry about it. This is obviously AI art and early stuff, and there's hey, there may actually be some interesting information we can get about the set for this. That's maybe even more the more interesting part of it, but. Okay, so the Takinom card. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. So it only has 2 disciplines listed there.
I think the interesting part about that too is it's the only. We don't get the full art of Maxxor. There's things cut off.
Yes. So this is the only. Yeah, about the only card you get to see incompleteness where there isn't.
Yeah.
Where there's nothing missing. Yep.
So, we have 2 disciplines, right? It's missing like courage and speed or something like that.
Right. Which the only reason for an actual design you do that is if disciplines became another different way to do elements, and so not everybody has power, and then at that point chaotic becomes not chaotic, like
That's actually interesting now.
yeah. So I mean, it's possible that that could happen, but yeah, Takinom, so her like tagline or sub name, the under Takinom
That
says,
I found to be the funniest thing.
not really the Shadow Knight. Yeah,
That's the
it's
most
hilarious.
trolly
It is. It is.
subtext ever.
Yeah. So there's a couple weird things that are here that I can't even explain. Like not even an AI would do this. The next one being the largest one. But that's a really weird one.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny.
Yeah,
Comical.
It is. Yeah, it's almost trollish. Yeah. So the next one, the Viledriver. Holy mackerel! How could there be that much to talk about on a Viledriver?
Yeah, well, it's just there's that much wrong.
Well, I mean, for all of them, the whole super and ultra and whatever, for a lot of them, I mean, just looks like something random was placed up there, which I think is exactly what happened. Otherwise, I mean, for the supers would have to be this, the Torn of Corinth, the Torweg, and the
Yeah.
Shard. Like you're going to chew up all your ultras in just these four. I mean, supers in these four. So, but I mean, that's besides. I just kind of ignored that. But yeah.
Yeah.
So you can only see part of it, but you can see that the word does say Viledriver, and it says encrypts creature, and has the symbol and the text for water, and it says water attacks are increased by 10, which is how you got the name Viledriver, the icon for water, and the word water is amazing. I have no explanation. Like if somehow the whole Torn of Corinth, Corinth text was there, maybe that would be one thing. But how it's this amalgamation of the two, I have absolutely no explanation how something like that could happen, and it'd be such an oversight.
Yeah, no, I think this one's bad. I also thought it was interesting that it says 10 damage, not 5.
Okay, so I actually have good things to talk about that. I want to save that for later.
I
have a really interesting take on that. So
love it.
We're just about there. And so and the also one that was odd there is that Maxxor as well, instead of having earth, instead of having fire and earth, had earth and water, which I don't know how even in an AI where it would just start swapping icons. That feels odd as well.
Yeah, it does.
Not sure. Okay, so one of the other reasons to definitely not be concerned, because it's so bad, and I think the AllMageddon one like proves it the best, is right. They're trying to go to this borderless kind of layout. It looks like in the concept art, which a lot of TCGs are going to, and for good reason.
Sure.
Like a lot of pretty artwork, you want to see it, but it's such a quick job. Actually, the new card layouts don't show anywhere near as much of the artwork as the old ones.
Right? They're all zoomed in.
They're all zoomed in so much you can only
AllMageddon the most. Yeah,
AllMageddon is the one where you notice it the most. Like you can't even, all you see is the nuke part. You don't actually see the elements. AllMageddon is the one you notice the most on.
Yep. I noticed it immediately.
Yeah. Here I think is the one that's like the dead to rights one, and so it's on the Maxxor card. So if you look at it, it still has back on it. It says Maxxor may not enter mixed armies. So it's not been updated to a keyword of loyal, which I think started a brilliant invasion.
It did.
So they just took this and they just pumped this into something. There's no way that's actually card text from Maxxor again, with them not updating to the keyword loyal. I would say it's a near impossibility. Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah,
right. It was a fix that they made, after on set 4 of 9. So there's no way that they're going back to that long string of text after that.
No, I agree.
Some of the other little things, so you kind of notice in some of the new things, you notice the most on the Maxxor one. So once again, they're trying to go to this borderless clean design, and then there's like these whole little light colored dots that are in things that kind of serve absolutely no purpose at all. But you can kind of see where they were probably artifacts from whatever AI turned it from its original art, as part of the border. Like there's the same kind of dots that, you know, when it got rid of the border, it kind of kept and transformed those kind of light images into like their relative spots. That looks very, very much like an AI job on that.
Now, do you have any fears? I think this is where I struggle. Do you have any fears knowing that this is very obvious AI?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any fears that AI is that they're using too much AI? And that this could be a problem?
Okay, so even if you were using AI, so I can like, so I'll show you as my example of what I did. Let me just say that while it's possible, you know, there's the consideration whether they generate new actual artwork from AI. I don't think they're going to. I think they would get so much flack from it, and they have so much existing good card art from 9 sets worth that, you know, there'd be no risk of them doing that for any close time period. Maybe using it to touch up and improve the quality. Maybe they would do something like that, but maybe not that. But let me tell you what you wouldn't do. You wouldn't just plug your cards into it and say, hey, update this and make it easier, because it would be the hardest thing to do ever. You would still have a graphic designer who would make your frames, and that would just pump to some database, which you would just overlay over your card artwork. You would have the most miserable time on earth. Actually, it would be impossible, because AI, you know what's really good at is to giving it a prompt and say, hey, make the picture of, you know, a donkey eating popcorn in a movie theater, and it could do something like that real quickly. To get it to put specific things in specific places is like near impossible. The less you say to it, the better it gets. So there's no way that you would use an AI to actually build the whole thing. Maybe to generate artwork from back. Some people would do, right? It's happened in some Kickstarters and some things where they used AI card art for things, but you wouldn't do it for the framing and everything.
No, completely makes sense.
Yeah. And so even some of those artifacts that got carried over from card to card aren't consistent between the Maxxor and the Takinom. So yeah, so like I said, not consistent is still, you know, very much indicator of an AI kind of job there. So now we're getting to what I think is maybe the actual possible real things that we can learn from this concept art, maybe that inspired some of these things. Now I'm in the highly speculative range, right?
I love it.
The other part is like, hey, don't worry, this is obviously AI art, and this is now maybe it's AI art that had some direction, and maybe we can get something from it. Maybe not.
Okay.
So all of these cards, all these 5 cards that they shared, all have borderless designs. So so somebody put in a prompt saying, here, take this card art and make a borderless design for all this. That's consistent, whatever, right? That's obviously what happened. And so that's a very possible thing that they're doing, is that they're going to a cleaner borderless design. Like said, use some of the favorite cards on Pokemon and on Lorcana and like everything, like to show more of the card art, right? Is this done very well? No, because it's early concept, but anyway, so that's a possible real thing that we get out of it too.
Well, I think we hope that.
Yeah. I think everybody, it's old. It's an old look to have the borders.
Yeah. All right, number two.
So while it's the ugliest, dumbest looking card set icons you ever seen, it is definitely indicating one of 3, because it's 1 dot and there's 3 dots, 1 that's filled in. There could very much be 3 in the first like generation, like of ones, kind of like it was with Dawn of Perim, Zenith the Hive, Silent Sands. Right. So we could be actually seeing, right, the first of 3. So that's I think that's a good possibility. So here's the interesting one. So the numbers on almost everything are doubled. So Maxxor's base stat, I believe, was 60. And so the
Yeah.
number on this generated card is 120. The Takinom's base is 40. And her on this generated one, it's 80. The AllMageddons are elements are base 10. On the new one, it's 20. On the Viledriver, it's, fire 5. Now it's become water 10. But anyway, and the one on the Riverlands, which was heal 5, shows now when you do water heal 10. So what they could actually be doing is, as a starting place, kick up by doubling all the numbers, because admittedly there was a little bit of a problem in chaotic where there was such a fine range between things because the numbers were so tight that they may be doubling the scope so they can have a little bit more variation. So for example, it's like if you had an attack in chaotic that's a 1 cost attack, like it's doing really poor if it's doing 10. That's what you would hope to get from like a challenge from a 0. If it's doing 15, that's pretty average, and if it's 20, it's amazing. So that's a really tight range for you to only have like 5 points of damage either way between an absolutely outstanding attack like a 1 that's rust toxic, or your other ones like that, your Academy Strike, or all those ones that are like stat check 100 that do 15. So by doubling all the numbers, you would be able to create, like, instead of a range of like 5 either way, of maybe like 10 either way. And so you could create some new like card effects. You're not completely breaking a card by adding like 15 damage plus the card effect. You see what I'm trying to say? So it gives you more wiggle room for design. And the same thing with the so what I think this number is down here in the bottom left corner of the new AllMageddon card, I think that's what's supposed to be the build cost, because it's exactly double what the build cost is last time, from 5 to 10. And I think there's that possibility that they may double or increase the number of the build points, because it lets you put a little bit more variation. You can, if your scale goes from 0, if your deck size goes to 40, then you have a lot more variation to create attacks than if it goes to 20.
And that's, obviously highly speculative.
All of this,
but I kind of like where your thought is.
Yes, it actually shows there's some intentionality that could be there. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. And also, there's nothing on here that has any base damage for AllMageddon now, where it's clearly there before. That seems kind of strange as well, because you would have, even if you were an AI, you would have put that 10 right up there above the element damage or somewhere on the card. So, and I could very much see where AllMageddon maybe gets powered up from an element attack side and doesn't have the base damage. That would almost make sense for that card. We'll see.
And is there a spot for base damage somewhere?
Right. I would think there would be. I think because you would want to be able to read a card and see how much damage does all in place. So you would put base damage first, and then you would put each thing. I think a vertical layout's going to be kind of weird for attack damage, and like where you're going to put the card text. I would even think you would stack them on the left instead of on the right, just from how you would read. Anyway, so
again, concept, right? Or so we hope.
Yeah. So here's another thing. So there's one of each card type, but there are 2 creatures, and why I'm kind of wondering why not include one creature from each tribe. And as we've seen all the other concept art for the foundation packs and the starter packs and everything like that, right? Nowhere here in anything have we ever seen anything Danian or Mipedian related.
True.
So it is. The more and more I see, the more I think the possibility is that they've been moved out to set 2 and beyond, set 2 and 3.
And I know we kind of talked that through yesterday. Me personally, doesn't matter. Didn't think they were playable at all. But are you like, so now you're kind of thinking a little more, this is probably a possibility. Does that kind of,
Yeah,
how's that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not thrilled about it, but I would rather have a good functioning team than a broken, non-functioning Danian card sitting around. So you know what? Yeah, I was, the way I was hoping they were going to do it is that they were going to do a larger release and that they would boost all 4 to be equal. My second option would be to pull them and do them completely in the next one, right? That's the second best, as opposed to put them out there and you still can't do anything with them. That would be the worst. Which is what they did last time. But so yeah, so it could be very well like the more and more I see that they're pulled from the set. So back to the Takinom card. So the weirdest thing is, the first thing is, so the one number on all of these that isn't doubled is in the Takinom Effect, which is sacrifice the battle gear to let her heal 30. So it's before it's sacrifice the battle gear to heal 25. So it's the one card text of any of all of them that is not doubled. Which
that is odd.
If it was sacrifice and heal 50, that may be cracked. Yeah. So even in a doubled system of everybody energy, so that could actually be maybe some intentional card text change. I don't know. Like it feels odd that's the one thing on all of it that's not.
So you're like, oh, this could actually be the one real thing from all of it.
Well, yeah, a couple things, but yeah, that's one of them. Yeah. Maybe.
Okay.
So the weirdest thing on all of these, and you don't get to see it on the Maxxor card because of how it's covered, is that there's some random number on the creatures in the bottom left-hand corner.
Oh yeah, it was like the 90. I'm talking now. It was like 9. It almost looked like 90 Celsius.
Yeah.
Like.
And so it's either one, just some random number, or maybe that's like maybe that C is like the courage or something like that. So maybe it's the one piece of the discipline number that got thrown there, or least likely, but the most hope I've seen for it is that it could be some army build number.
Oh, I hope.
Yeah, I know that would.
Oh, I really wanted that so bad.
Yeah, it's the one thing that I saw. Yeah, how much more balanced would things be if you had a creature like a build cost for the actual army and not just the attack deck? That's the only thing I've seen. This is the most questionable. Like I have the most questions about is where this number. What was the AI reading when it made this, and what was that? So you can and it's not completely crazy out of there, because so it has that number and then next to it has that weird bar like thing. And so in the Maxxor card you can actually see that weird edge of that bar that's there. It's just the numbers are covered, so it's not completely random.
Well, on Maxxor, it's a different color, it seems.
Yeah, that's true. It's a different color as well. I'm not sure. Oh yeah. So the other interesting thing is so there aren't discipline numbers here unless that number has something to do with disciplines, which I really, really, really hope it wouldn't be one number that applies to all the disciplines, which would be completely pointless. Like, why would you even need more than one then? One discipline if they're all the same number. But anyway, is that if the discipline numbers haven't been printed here, why are the energy numbers here? Which makes me wonder, is maybe are they transitioning to a printed number stat? Like maybe. So maybe more variable for disciplines and printed for energy, which is something that nearly everybody has called for.
I would like that personally, but yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
So the last thing, this is the last slide that I have. I pumped a card into AI and kind of dealt with it, and wondering if and generated something that I thought maybe more that they're going to trying to, like, the open card art design, pull it out so you can see the whole art from behind. Um, but even when I was trying to do this, is, you can notice there's errors on here because, like I said, when you try to get an AI to do things, you can't make it do things clean. It put in, and this is even after 4 or 5 persuasions to try and get it to do the right thing. It put like the overworld symbol here instead of a music symbol,
Music.
and it made
Yeah.
the energy just disappear from the whole card because I was trying to get some things in. So it's yeah. So
Well,
it's
even the courage and the power and the wisdom and the speed are
even the
cool
icons
off.
look a little goofy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think that's probably more likelihood, is that all of this is just completely AI stuff, nothing actual, and probably really old, like relatively
Mhm.
old. Not something that we should be hugely concerned about. Although I would love to see Panini or somebody. It may be time to do a card drop or two, just to assuage some concerns that are going around, because pretty much
I agree.
everybody who's the big players on the big channels talking about this right now are talking about this card art. And it's Kikiru is about the most generous of the ones that I saw, and some of the other ones are a lot more pessimistic than that.
Yeah. Well, and again, there's a good reason why they're pessimistic
Oh
here,
yeah, they're
based off
absolutely
of just
hideous. Yeah.
based off what we're seeing. There's not a whole lot of room for encouragement here.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, you and you're contrarian,
Yeah.
and now you're coming at it with this positive light. I agree with you. I do think this can be AI generated for concept art, for concepts to bring to a pitch,
Yeah,
that kind
exactly.
of thing.
That's exactly what I think it is. I think it's probably Chaotic team was working with whoever on Panini to make their initial kind of like pitch deck, to go up to Panini executives saying, "Hey, here's what we're thinking about very briefly doing." And when somebody said, "Hey, I got to make a deck to get interest in the purchase orders from all the other companies. Hey, let's reuse this element, this element, this element from this deck that we have, because the card art's not ready and we don't want to leak it yet anyway." And so we got ugly cards.
Ugly cards, yes, ugly cards.
Mhm.
And again, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that you're right. I think everyone else
Yeah.
would love to be optimistic like you.
It's so bad. I'm not worried about it, because nobody, I
Okay.
don't think the creator who's been shepherding this and championing this for the last 15 years, back to the return, I don't think he just had a lobotomy and said, "Boy, I think these artworks now look amazing," that we did. Right? If that was the case, just do the straight reprint. Like, don't change a
Yep.
thing. Just publish the cards again, because they looked better as they did before than what these new ones generated did. So
Sure. All right. Well, hey, this has been helpful for me.
yeah,
I appreciate going through this and talking through it, and hopefully you guys also appreciate it on YouTube.
yeah.
And leave us a comment. Let us know. Are we being too optimistic? Is is this bad? Is this good? Is it concept art? Is it not concept art?
Yeah, I'd love for you to tell me where you think I'm wrong, or what did I miss? Because I mean, there's so much we were able to pull out from every time I thought I was done with this. I was like, oh, you know what? There's one more thing. So
Yeah, and if you think of something we didn't, right, also drop that in the comments so that we can kind of talk through it.
absolutely.
All right, as always, pleasure chatting it through, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you again.